look here at the 7-day forecast and what we can expect. Tomorrow we have our nor'easter in full swing here, stretching from the mid-Atlantic up into the northeast, dumping lots of snow, staying relatively quiet across much of the country. Our next system getting going, though, in the west as well, with some very heavy rain falling all the way from the Pacific Northwest back down into California. On Thursday, that mess continuing in the west. Pretty quiet weather here across much of the central U.S. We quiet things down back here in the north as well. Just some lingering snow as we get up into northern New England for tomorrow. Quiet weather here across the south as well, with warm conditions there in Dallas at 80 degrees. What about Friday of this week? Looking ahead to the beginning of the weekend here, looks like we will see some snow in the upper plains, some more rain as well coming into the central and southern plains. A bit of messy weather back in the west as well. Temperatures staying relatively mild across much of the country. 60s here in Atlanta. We've got 40s up the east coast with quiet weather also. On Saturday, another system potentially here in the Midwest. We could see some more snow, possibly a wintry mix in the Twin Cities, stretching maybe back down into Chicago, portions of northern Indiana and Ohio. So we'll keep you posted on that, but quiet here across the east. Warmer conditions here across the southeast as well. 78 Miami, 70 in Atlanta. We've got 80s from Dallas back into Phoenix. Sunday rather, looks like this. More messy weather in the Midwest and in the upper plains. Looks like we'll clear things out in and around the Great Lakes, but the rain sinking to the south here. Looks like wet conditions for you in Atlanta, Georgia, up through the Carolinas, and maybe another wintry mix starting to form here as we get into portions of Virginia, West Virginia, maybe Pennsylvania, getting a little touch of winter weather still. Then on Monday, we'll look at more wet weather really infiltrating much of the U.S. here, stretching from the plains into the mid. 53 minutes past the hour, time for our winter weather update. And unfortunately, we're still talking about winter weather.
Yeah. And, you know, it's an exceedingly rare event to have 4 nor'easters in as many weeks. It just does not happen very much at all.
It's happening.
And you can hear the collective muttering up and down 95. I mean, it's got to be really frustrating. You know, last week we talked about the fact that it would be kind of a complicated system. It's got a lot of different parts. There's a developing coastal low here. You see the swirl there in Ohio as well. So it's kind of an elongated system. Snow now coming down into southern Pennsylvania, now moving up through the Turnpike and across northern Maryland. We've had a little bit of a mix there in the D.C. metro, and it's all rain farther south. But we expect to see a lot of snow in D.C. This one, unlike a lot of the previous storms, really taking aim on the Mason-Dixon line and also up into New York City as well.
So D.C. you could see upwards of a foot?
Yeah, maybe not in D.C. proper, but I think in the metro certainly, especially as you get up towards 270, out towards Gaithersburg and along 70 there, maybe up into Howard County. Maybe we're talking near a foot there. So yeah, it's going to be a healthy storm and a very heavy wet snow, which, as we've discussed, can be a real problem, can help to bring down power lines with the wind and all of that. But
hard to shovel too.
Very hard to shovel. You got to really be careful there. And then here in Philly, look at this. I mean, we've upped this forecast a little bit. 13 to 14 inches of heavy wet snow in Philly. And we're sorry. We are really, really sorry. We apologize.
Philly doesn't need any more snow. I know in D.C. it's been kind of a deficit for the year. So it's kind of interesting that this much will be coming in March, but it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every once in a while you get an active pattern like this, and as we discussed, it's a kind of a double-barreled system. So you've got this area of snow that extends way back into the Ohio Valley and will into tomorrow as well, even as this low is starting to become stronger, more organized. So you've got a northeasterly wind there, really kicking in during the day tomorrow, probably stepping up to about 40 to 50 miles per hour in the high end in Boston and Nantucket by late tomorrow. Snow's still going on there in D.C. and Philly, so a prolonged event, and then finally that winds down into Thursday morning. But with that onshore flow, once again, we're going to be talking about coastal flooding, minor to moderate flooding in New England, and really right down the coast into Long Island, right down into New Jersey, and also down into Delaware.
All right, so the coastal flooding, the winds, travel, a big time nightmare tomorrow in the Northeast.